Okay, we're in Second Chronicles 6. Then Shlomo said, Yahweh has said he would dwell in the dark cloud, but I have built you an exalted house, and a place for you to dwell in forever. And the sovereign turned around and blessed all the assembly of Israel, while all the assembly of Israel stood. And he said, Blessed be Yahweh Elohim of Israel, who has filled with his hands what he spoke with his mouth to my father David, saying, From the day that I brought my people out of the land of Mitzrayim, I have chosen no city from any tribe of Israel in which to build a house for my name to be there. Nor did I choose any man to be a leader over my people Israel. But I have chosen Jerusalem for my name to be there, and I have chosen David to be over my people Israel. And it was in the heart of my father David to build a house for the name of Yahweh Elohim of Israel. But Yahweh said to my father David, because it was in your heart to build a house for my name, you did well in that it was in your heart. But you do not build the house for your son, who comes forth from your loins. He does build the house for my name. Now Yahweh has established his word, which he spoke, and I have been raised up instead of my father David, and sit on the throne of Israel as Yahweh promised. And I have built the house for the name of Yahweh Elohim of Israel, and there I have placed the ark in which is the covenant of Yahweh, which he made with the children of Israel. And he stood before the slaughter place of Yahweh in front of all the assembly of Israel, and spread out his hands. For Shlomo had made a bronze platform, 5 cubits long, and 5 cubits broad, and 3 cubits high, and had put it in the midst of the court. And he stood on it, and knelt down on his knees before all the assembly of Israel, and spread out his hands toward the heavens, and said, Yahweh Elohim of Israel, there is no Elohim in the heavens, or on the earth like you, guarding the covenant and loving commitment with your servants who walk before you with all their heart, who has guarded what you promised your servant David, my father. Indeed, you have both spoken with your mouth and have filled it with your hand, as it is this day. And now, Yahweh Elohim of Israel, guard what you promised your servant David, my father, saying, There is not to cease a man of yours before me sitting on the throne of Israel. Only if your sons guard their way to walk in my Torah, as you have walked before me. And now, Yahweh Elohim of Israel, let your word come true, which you have spoken to your servant David. For it is true, Elohim dwells with men on the earth. See, the heavens and the heavens of the heavens are unable to contain you, but much less than this house which I have built. Yet shall you turn to the prayer of your servant and his supplication, O Yahweh my Elohim, to listen to the cry and to the prayer which your servant is praying before you. For your eyes to be open toward this house day and night, toward the place you have said to put your name there, to listen to the prayer which your servant prays toward this place. And you shall give heed to the supplications of your servant and your people, Yisrael, when they pray toward this place, and hear from your dwelling place in the heavens, and shall hear and forgive. If anyone sins against his neighbor, and has lifted up an oath on him, to cause him to swear, and comes and swears before your slaughter place in this house, then hear in the heavens and act, and rightly rule your servants, repaying the wrong by bringing his way on his own head, and declare right the righteous by giving him according to his righteousness. And if your people Yisrael are smitten before an enemy, because they have sinned against you, and they shall turn back and confess your name, and pray and make supplication before you in this house, then hear in the heavens and forgive the sin of your people Yisrael, and bring them back to the land which you gave to them and their fathers. When the heavens are shut up, and there is no rain, because they have sinned against you, and they shall pray toward this place, and confess your name, and turn from their sin, because you afflict them, then hear in the heavens, and forgive the sin of your servants, your people Yisrael, for you teach them the good way in which they should walk, and shall send rain on your land which you have given to your people as an inheritance. When there is scarcity of food in the land, when there is or mildew, locusts, or grasshoppers, when their enemies distress them in the land of their cities, any plague or any sickness, whatever prayer, whatever supplication is made by anyone or by all your people, Israel, when each one knows his own plague and his own grief, and spreads out his hands to this house, then hear from the heavens your dwelling place, and forgive, and give to everyone according to all his ways, whose heart you know. For you alone know the hearts of the sons of men, so that they fear you, to walk in your ways, as long as they live in the land which you gave to our fathers. Also concerning a foreigner, who is not of your people Israel, but who comes from a far land for the sake of your great name and your strong hand and your outstretched arm, when they come and pray to this house, then hear from the heavens your dwelling place, and do according to all which the foreigner calls to you for, so that all the people of the earth know your name and fear you, as do your people Israel, and to know that this house which I have built is called by your name. When your people go out to battle against their enemies, in the way that you send them, and they shall pray to you toward this city which you have chosen, and toward the house which I have built for your name, then shall you hear from the heavens their prayers and their supplication, and maintain their cause. When they sin against you, for there is no one who does not sin, and you become enraged with them, and give them to the enemy, and they take them captive to a land far near, and they shall turn back unto their heart in the land where they have been taken captive, and shall turn and make supplication to you in the land of their captivity, saying, We have sinned, we have acted crookedly, and have done wrong. And when they turn to you, you with all their heart, and with all their being in the land of their captivity, where they have taken them captive, and they shall pray toward their land, which you gave to their fathers, in the city which you have chosen, and toward the house which I have built for your name, then shall you hear from the heavens your dwelling place their prayer and their supplications, and maintain their cause, and forgive your people who have sinned against you. Now, my Elohim, I pray, let your eyes be open, and let your ears be attentive to the prayer of this place. And now arise, O Yahweh Elohim, to your resting place. You and the ark of your strength, let your priests, O Yahweh Elohim, be robed with deliverance. And let your loving committed ones rejoice in goodness. O Yahweh Elohim, do not turn away the face of your anointed. Remember the loving commitment of your servant David. Chapter 7. And when Shlomo had ended praying, fire came down from the heavens and consumed the ascending offering and the slaughterings, and the esteem of Yahweh filled the house. And the priests were unable to enter the house of Yahweh, because the esteem of Yahweh had filled the house of Yahweh. And all the children of Israel saw how the fire came down, and the esteem of Yahweh on the house, and they bowed their faces to the ground on the pavement, and did obeisance, and gave thanks to Yahweh, saying, For he is good, for he is loving, his loving commitment is everlasting. And the sovereign and all the people slaughtered slaughterings before Yahweh. And sovereign Shlomo slaughtered a slaughtering of 22,000 bulls and 120,000 sheep. Thus the sovereign and all the people dedicated the house of Elohim. And the priests were standing over their duties. Excuse me. And the Levites with instruments of the song of Yahweh, which sovereign David had made to give thanks to Yahweh, saying, For his loving commitment is everlasting. Whenever David praised by their hand, and the priests were blowing trumpets before them, and all Israel were standing. And Shlomo set apart the middle of the courtyard that was in front of the house of Yahweh, for there he made ascending offerings and the fat of the peace offerings, because the bronze slaughter place which Shlomo had made was not able to contain the ascending offerings and the grain offerings and the fat. And Shlomo at that time observed the festival 7 days, and all Yisrael with him, a very great assembly from the entrance of Hamath to the Wadi of Mitzrayim. And on the 8th day they held an assembly, for they performed the dedication of the slaughter place 7 days, and the festival 7 days. And on the 23rd day of the 7th new moon, he sent the people away to their tents, rejoicing and glad of heart for the goodness that Yahweh had done for David and for Shlomo and for his people Yisrael. Thus Shlomo finished the house of Yahweh and the sovereign's house, and all that came into the heart of Shlomo to do in the house of Yahweh and his own house, he prosperously executed. And Yahweh appeared to Shlomo by night and said to him, I have heard your prayer, and have chosen this place for myself as the house of slaughtering. If I shut up the heavens and there is no rain, or if I command the locusts to devour the land, or if I send pestilence among my people, and my people upon whom my name is called shall humble themselves, and pray and seek my face, and turn from their evil ways, then I shall hear from the heavens and forgive their sin and heal their land. Now my eyes are open and my ears attentive to the prayer of this place. And now I have chosen and set this house apart for my name, to be there forever. And my eyes and my heart shall always be there. And you, if you walk before me as your father David walked, and do according to all that I have commanded you, and if you guard my laws and my right rulings, then I shall establish the throne of your reign, as I covenanted with David your father, saying, there is not to cease a man of yours as ruler in Israel. But if you turn away and forsake my laws and my commands, which I have set before you, and shall go and serve other mighty ones, and bow yourself to them, then I shall pluck them from my land which I have given them, and this house which I have set apart for my name I shall cast out of my sight, and make it to be a proverb and a mockery among all peoples. And this house which has been exalted, everyone who passes by it shall be astonished, and say, why has Yahweh done thus to this land and this house? Then they shall say, because they forsook Yahweh Elohim of their fathers, who brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim, and embraced other mighty ones, and bowed themselves to them, and served them. Therefore he has brought all this evil on them. Chapter 8. And it came to be at the end of 20 years, that Shlomo had built the house of Yahweh and his own house, and the cities which Hiram had given to Shlomo. Shlomo had built them, and he settled the children of Israel there. And Shlomo went to Hamath Sobah, and took hold of it. And he built Tadmor in the wilderness, and all the storage cities which he built in Hamath. And he built upper Baeth Horon and lower Baeth Horon, cities of defense, with walls, gates, and bars. Also Baalath, and the storage cities that Shlomo had, and all the chariot cities, and the cities of the cavalry, and all that Shlomo desired to build in Jerusalem, and in Lebanon, and in all the land of his rule. All the people who were left of the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, who were not of Israel, their descendants who were left in the land after them, whom the children of Israel did not destroy, from these Shlomo raised compulsory labor, as it is to this day. And Shlomo did not make slaves of the children of Israel for his work, but they were men of battle, and chiefs of his officers, and commanders of his chariots and his cavalry. And these were the chiefs of the officials of sovereign Shlomo, 250 who ruled over the people. And Shlomo brought the daughter of Pharaoh up from the city of David to the house he had built for her. For he said, my wife does not dwell in the house of David, sovereign of Israel, for the place where the ark of Yahweh has come is set apart. Then Shlomo offered ascending offerings to Yahweh on the slaughter place of Yahweh, which he had built before the porch, even as the duty of every day required, offering according to the command of Moshe, for the Sabbaths and for the new moons and for the appointed times, 3 times a year, the festival of Matzah, and the festival of Shavuot, and the festival of Sukkot. And according to the ruling of David his father, he appointed the divisions of the priests for their service, the Levites for their duties to praise and serve before the priests as the duty of each day required, and the gatekeepers by their divisions at each gate. So was the command of David the man of Elohim. And they did not turn aside from the command of the sovereign to the priests and Levites concerning any matter or concerning the treasuries. And all the work of Shlomo was prepared from the day of the foundations of the house of Yahweh until it was completed, and the house of Yahweh was perfected. Then Shlomo went to Etzion Geber and Eloth on the sea coast in the land of Edom, and Hiram sent him ships by the hand of his servants, and servants who knew the sea, and they went with the servants of Shlomo to Ophir, and took 450 talents of gold from there, and brought it to sovereign Shlomo. Chapter 9. And the sovereigness of Sheba heard of the report of Shlomo, and came to Jerusalem to try Shlomo with hard questions, with very great company, and camels bearing spices, and much gold, and precious stones. And she came to Shlomo, and she spoke with him about all that was in her heart. And Shlomo answered all her questions, and there was no matter hidden for Shlomo which he did not make known to her. And the sovereigness of Sheba saw the wisdom of Shlomo, and the house that he had built, and the food on his table, and the seating of his servants, and the service of his waiters, and their attire, and his cupbearers, and their attire, and his ascending offerings that he offered up in the house of Yahweh, and there was no more spirit in her. Then she said to the sovereign, True was the word I heard on my own land about your words and your wisdom. But I did not believe their words until I came and saw with my own eyes. And see, I have not been told the half of the greatness of your wisdom. You exceed the report which I heard. Blessed are your men, and blessed are these your servants, who stand continually before you and hear your wisdom. Blessed be Yahweh your Elohim, who delighted in you, to put you on his throne, to be sovereign for Yahweh your Elohim, because your Elohim has loved Israel to establish them forever. Therefore he made you sovereign over them, to do right ruling and righteousness. And she gave the sovereign 120 talents of gold, and very many spices and precious stones. And there has not been any spices such as those the sovereigness of Sheba gave to sovereign Shlomo. And also the servants of Hiram and the servants of Shlomo, who brought gold from Ophir, brought algum wood and precious stones. And the sovereign made stairs of the algum wood for the house of Yahweh and for the sovereign's house, with also lyres and harps for singers. And there was never seen the like of them before in the land of Yehudah. And sovereign Shlomo gave to the sovereigness of Sheba all she desired, whatever she asked, besides that which she had brought to the sovereign. And she turned and went to her own land, and she and her servants. And the weight of gold that came to Shlomo yearly was 666 talents of gold, besides that which the merchants and traders brought. And all the sovereigns of Arabia and governors of the land were bringing gold and silver to Shlomo. And sovereign Shlomo made 200 large shields of beaten gold. 600 pieces of beaten gold went into each shield, and 300 shields of beaten gold. 300 pieces of gold went into each shield. And the sovereign put them in the house of the forest of Lebanon. And the sovereign made a great throne of ivory, and overlaid it with clean gold. And 6 steps led to the throne, with a footstool of gold, which were fastened to the throne. And there were armrests on either side of the place of the seat. And 2 lions stood beside the armrests. And 12 lions were standing there, one on each side of the 6 steps. The like of it was not in any reign. And all the drinking vessels of sovereign Shlomo were of gold. And all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of refined gold. Silver was reckoned of little value in the days of Shlomo. For the sovereign's ships went to Tarshish with the servants of Hiram. Once in 3 years the ships of Tarshish came, bringing gold and silver, ivory, apes, and baboons. And sovereign Shlomo became greater than all the sovereigns of the earth in riches and wisdom. And all the sovereigns of the earth sought the presence of Shlomo to hear his wisdom, which Elohim had put in his heart. And each man brought his present, objects of silver and objects of gold, and garments and armor and spices, horses and mules, the matter of a year by year. And Shlomo had 4,000 stalls for horses and chariots, and 12,000 horsemen, whom he stationed in the chariot cities, and with the sovereign at Jerusalem. And he ruled over all the sovereigns from the river to the land of the Philistines, as far as the border of Mitzrayim. And the sovereign made silver in Jerusalem as the stones, and he made cedar trees as plenty as the sycamores which are in the low country. And they were bringing horses to Shlomo from Mitzrayim and from all lands. And the rest of the acts of Shlomo, first and last, are they not written in the book of Nathan the prophet, and in the prophecy of Ahiah the Shilonite, and in the vision of Edo the seer concerning Jeroboam son of Nebat? And Shlomo resigned in Jerusalem over all Israel. Shlomo reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel 40 years. So Shlomo slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David his father. And Rehoboam his son reigned in his place. Chapter 10. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel had gone to Shechem to set him up to reign. And it came to be, when Jeroboam son of Nebat heard it, he was in Mitzrayim, where he had fled from the presence of Shlomo the sovereign, that Jeroboam returned from Mitzrayim. So they sent for him and called him. And Jeroboam and all Israel came and spoke to Rehoboam, saying, Your father made our yoke hard, and now lightened the hard service of your father, and his heavy yoke which he put on us. Then we shall serve you. And he said to them, Come back to me after 3 days. And the people went. Then sovereign Rehoboam consulted the elders who stood before his father Shlomo while he still lived, saying, "What do you advise me to answer these people?" And they spoke to him, saying, "If you are good to these people, and shall please them, and speak good words to them, they shall be your servants all the days." But he ignored the advice of the elders gave him, and consulted the young men who had grown up with him, who stood before him. And he said to them, "What advice do you give? How should we answer the people who have spoken to me, saying, 'Lighten the yoke which your father put on us'?" And the young men who had grown up with him spoke to him, saying, "Say this to the people who have spoken to you, saying, 'Your father made our yoke heavy, but you make it lighter on us.' Say this to them, 'My little finger is thicker than my father's waist. And now my father put a heavy yoke on you, but I add to your yoke. My father chastised you with whips, but I with scourges." So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam on the third day, as the sovereign commanded, saying, "Come back to me the third day." And the sovereign answered them harshly. Thus sovereign Rehoboam ignored the advice of the elders, and spoke to them according to the advice of the young men, saying, "My father made your yoke heavy, but I add to it. My father chastised you with whips, but I with scourges." So the sovereign did not listen to the people, for the turn of events was from Elohim, in order for Yahweh to establish his word, which he had spoken by the hand of Ahiyahu the Shilonite to Jeroboam, son of Nebat. And when all Israel saw that the sovereign did not listen to them, the people answered the sovereign, saying, "What portion have we in David? And we have no inheritance in the son of Yeshai. Every man to your mighty ones, O Yisrael. Now see to your own house, O David." So all Yisrael went to their tents. But as for the children of Israel who dwelt in the cities of Yehudah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Then sovereign Rehoboam sent Hadoram, who was over the compulsory labor, and the children of Israel stoned him with stones, and he died. And sovereign Rehoboam hastily mounted his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. Thus Israel revolted against the house of David to this day. Shalom.